Happy Monday, Wonder Fanatics. Good morning. It is 12 noon here on the West Coast. If you're just joining us live on the socials, the TikTok, if you're joining us on YouTube, wherever you're coming from, we're happy you're here, and we have a lot to talk about. Uh, well, I'll cut right to the chase. The Thunder are the NBA Finals champions. You might have noticed from the thumbnail, I said they're champions with a huge asterisk. They are champions. But that's the whole thing. That's the whole point of this. The Thunder are the NBA's first ever but champions, right? That's what we're calling them. That's what I'm calling them. The OKC Thunder are the but champions, which is honestly a perfect name if you think about it. They're the champions, but the Pacers lost their best player in the first 7 minutes of the game. The Thunder are the champions, but we don't care and we don't give a shit because we all wanted the Pacers to win, right? That's the whole thing about the Thunder is that they are everything they did is legit, right? And you could draw parallels to the Lakers bubble championship if you wanted to, right? That's a lot of people say, when they talk about LeBron, they're like, well, LeBron has 3 rings and the bubble. Like, they don't even count the bubble, which is crazy, super unfair. Because if you remember when the bubble was happening, we were in the pandemic. We were so deprived of sports. We were like clawing at the walls, gambling on weather forecasts and anything that would entertain us. And there's like baseball games happening with stuffed animals in the stands. And finally, we get real basketball in the bubble, like actual playoff basketball. We were so ready for something else to feel, right? We needed to feel something. And the second that it's LeBron who wins it, it's like, yeah, it's not real. Like, we asked for it. We begged for anything. And we got a postseason in the bubble. We have this functioning, awesome playoff system. And the second it was LeBron that won it, it was like, yeah, it doesn't count. No. The Mickey Mouse Finals Championship. That's what they called that one. The Mickey Mouse ring. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so just forgot to hit Do Not Disturb. That's super fun. Anyways, as it relates to the Thunder, this is worlds different. This is not the bubble. I think the bubble was a real championship because it's still like you still approached the games like, you're going to lose and your season's over. But, a lot of people are just anti-LeBron, and so they'll use that as shrapnel to stain the legacy, right? It's like, well, it's not real. Okay, it's real. This is worlds different because this was an NBA Finals and it was an actual NBA playoff process, but people are just so bummed with how it ended, right? The injury of Halliburton. You have eyes. You're capable of complex thinking. You're capable of hypotheticals. See, dogs, lizards, cats, they can't do hypotheticals. They see, they sniff, and they react, right? That's what a dog does. A human will see that game and go, okay, the Pacers lost to the Thunder, right? At the bare minimum, you say the Thunder won that game. They must be the champions, correct? Now, if you were a ball knower, at the very least, or scratch that. If you were a casual watcher, you would be, hey, wait a second. Who's that player that just went down? Someone says that's Tyrese Halliburton, their best player. So a casual would go, oh, well, that's a shame he went down this early in the game. I wonder how important he is to the team. And of course, if the person's still talking to you, the person will say, well, he's very important because they wouldn't have won any of the big games without him. In fact, the whole reason they're here is because he's hit crazy shots this entire playoff series, this entire playoff season. The whole postseason was because, well, the Pacers were in Game 7 of the NBA Finals because Halliburton hit crazy-ass shots all playoffs long. And so a casual hears that information and goes, well, I wonder if he was healthy, would this been a better game? Even ball knowers would say the same thing. Ball knowers and casuals alike watch Halliburton go down and go, that's a bummer. Because now we don't know what we don't know. We have no idea what could have happened. And we're also refusing to recognize that it would be the exact same outcome had Halliburton stayed healthy. But alas, injuries are part of the game. Injuries are part of the game. That's what everyone says when their opponent loses a player, to try to, I guess, justify the whole experience. And when someone on their own team goes down, it's that's sports, right? Injuries are part of the game. That's what they tell you. And it's true. Doesn't make it any easier to swallow, I guess. It's so frustrating. But no, the Thunder are the butt champions. There will be so many more disappointing finals than this one, but we will likely never have another finals where I don't even know how to describe it. Is it that everybody will remember the runner-up more than the actual champion itself? Because you cannot say the Thunder won the NBA Finals without immediately talking about the fact that, but the Pacers lost their best player in the first 7 minutes. The Thunder won, but they probably shouldn't have won because, right? That's what it's going to be. So the asterisk is real. And I know people hate the way that looks. People are so afraid of that asterisk because it means so much. If you put an asterisk next to an NBA Finals champion and the other champions on the list don't have the asterisk, any normal person with eyeballs sees the asterisk and goes, what's that? Why is it like that? That doesn't look like all the others. Something must be different. And I think you have to do that here, not because it was a rigged finals or a bad finals. It's because we'll never know. This is how I can compare the NBA Finals to other stuff in pop culture. I want you to picture the Sopranos ending. The Sopranos. You know, the famous or infamous ending of The Sopranos. If you haven't seen The Sopranos, what are you doing? But, I'm about to spoil the ending. At the end of The Sopranos, do you remember when Tony, is wearing his button-down shirt in the restaurant and the door chimes, the bell, you got Don't Stop Believing in the back, and he looks up and it cuts to black? Do you remember that? And then everyone in America was watching and going, who sat on the remote? And then it's like, no, credits. That's it. They were like, this can't possibly be the end of the show, right? Imagine this. This is how I look at it, like this. Ready for this? I wrote it down because I don't want to fuck it up. Game 7 of the NBA Finals feels like the ending of The Sopranos, but instead of just cutting to black and that's it, imagine you're watching The Sopranos. The same thing happens. It cuts to black. Right when the door opens, Tony looks up. It cuts to black for 3 seconds. And then it comes back. It's happening again. Everyone in America is watching the show. They're like, well, did you sit on the remote? What's happening? It's back. And they're like, oh, it's back. Guys, it's back. And Tony's just dead. Just on the restaurant table, he could have a bullet hole in his head. He could just be bleeding out. He's dead. And it's a slow zoom. And you're like, wait, what? Oh my God, he's dead. And then everyone's like, wait, rewind. And you try to rewind and it just goes back to black. And then right before, that happens. And it's like, wait, something's wrong. It must be a distribution error or surely it's the remote. And you keep going back and forth and you don't know how he died. You just know he's dead. And it slow pans to his dead face. And then it cuts to black again, then credits. That is Game 7 of the NBA Finals. We don't know what happened, or we won't ever know what would have happened if he stayed healthy. All we saw is Halliburton go down and the Thunder won. So in that Sopranos hypothetical, we have no idea who got him. We have no idea how he died. We have no idea who shot him or why it happened. There's no answers. He just died. End credits. So you don't even get the suspense of, oh, is he alive or dead? No, he is dead. You know he's dead, and that's it. That's what it felt like watching Game 7. Pacers died right there, but we'll never know what could have been. And I'd like to believe that Pacer fans will never find peace because of that. How can they? How are they expected? How are Pacers fans expected to just regroup? Because if they lost in 6 or 7 and they got killed in the last game, right? That's jet fuel for a guy like Halliburton. Halliburton was voted the most overrated player in the league, and he just went and tore the league up all postseason, right? Halliburton is kind of like Curry, the petty king. He's got the receipts. Okay, so if the Thunder wax the Pacers Game 7, Halliburton plays. Halliburton went 1 for 12. Stephen A. Smith is out here doing just a puff piece monologue about how Halliburton should have got hurt because Stephen A. is just off one these days. Yeah, I think the Pacers would regroup and there would be no franchise more excited for October to come than the Indiana Pacers. And Pacers fans would be like, we didn't expect to be here because in January we were 16-18 and now we're in the finals and this is incredible. And yeah, let's go get another guy in the offseason. Let's keep building the team. And now all of a sudden basketball in Indiana is fun because that's 2 straight Eastern Conference finals. That's 1 finals appearance. You lost in Game 7 to a much better team. That's how that goes. That's not what happened. You just lost Halliburton at the beginning of a game where he was cooking dudes. Cooking. And the Pacers were holding their end of the deal defensively. The Thunder sucked. They looked like shit. And it wasn't until they could not score. Their offense was anemic at the end because, oh, shoot, I guess Halliburton isn't the most overrated player in the league. I guess Halliburton's actually incredible because he's an offensive force. He can score, he can pass, distribute, run the dreaded pace and space offense that was so deadly. They'll never know because that was taken from them. It's just this ginormous question mark forever. And guess what? There is no next year. He's hurt all year. Confirmed. Ruptured Achilles. Goodbye. Just ask Kevin Durant. Ask Klay Thompson how their next year went. I'll give you a hint. It's a lot of rehab. It's a lot of rehab. Not a lot of NBA action. 0. And that's probably like it for this Pacers team for a while. Because the East is about to be wide open. The tectonic plates of the Eastern Conference, the NBA is about to shift. No Tatum, no Halliburton, no Dame. You got free agents that are about to sign massive deals. Who knows what Giannis is going to do? Who knows how these trades around the 4th of July will explode? The league's wide open. Oh, and the best part is this. The Thunder win yesterday. The Thunder are the butt champions of the NBA. Congratulations to the Thunder. They won the finals, but nobody cares. How are we supposed to care if the Thunder don't care? Right? I mean, everyone was saying it was like the least celebrated finals ever. On the court, in the locker room, guys don't know how to open champagne. Guys are like, I don't really want this beer. No, thank you. Oh, I'm good. I'm fine. If they don't care, we don't care. Guess what? I can assure you Americans do not care that the Thunder just won the finals, especially not like that. Americans right now are wounded from the fact that Halliburton went down like that. But even if the Thunder killed the Pacers, everyone plays, Halliburton never gets hurt, people still wouldn't care. The biggest story is now Halliburton and what could have been. If Halliburton plays, Pacers lose by 1,000. The biggest story would not be the Thunder. The biggest story would be Kevin Durant is now a Rocket. That's my point. The NBA, this is like a crazy thing I'm about to say. I feel like I'm like in my 8-year-old cousin. Like the aura, they can't manufacture aura anymore. So part of that is because there's minimal effort going into it. If they don't care, why should we? And I can assure you, we do not care about the Thunder. And that right there begins the next season. Next season has started right now. Thunder get to celebrate their trophy for 15 minutes. They don't drink the beer. We're in bed. We go to sleep, and they'll have a ring ceremony next year. They'll do a parade. We don't care. All right, nobody cares. Nobody cares. The Thunder are the champions, but nobody cares. That's it. That's what they're the butt champions, the first ever butt champions of the NBA, legit champions. But, and there you go, fill in the blank. Okay. However, you can't ignore the fact that we are in someone. Okay, joining the chat. I care. Okay, people care. I should have said the Thunder are the champions, but nobody cares. But the people in Oklahoma care. Fine. There you go. I have to present a solution, though. Because, first of all, Thunder did not celebrate in the locker room. And I think they all know exactly what we know. Is that the Pacers probably should have won if Haliburton played. And the fact that he got hurt and they still kept it kind of close. Okay, sure. Thunder know it too. Everybody knows it. It's just kind of like, ooh, it's like you're a boxer. You're going up against an opponent. He's challenging you for the belt. And on your way to the arena, on your way to the venue, the other opponent, he gets hit by a car. He's paralyzed. The belt is yours. Did you win the fight? You have the belt. Thunder have the rings. You didn't really get a fight. Or actually, picture this. This is what it is. Here's the analogy. I just thought of this right now, if you hadn't tell. You're a heavyweight champion boxer, and you're going up against a challenger for your belt. You have the belt, right? Because Thunder are the best team. Thunder are being challenged by the Pacers. You're a boxer, and you go for one round. And the challenger is cooking you. Like, it's going to be a long fight, and you are nervous. And on your way back to your corner, right? Ding, ding, ding. End of round one. You're going back to your corner. He slips on blood that he caused. He slips on your blood, and he tears his Achilles. He slips. Fight's over because he can't fight. He's done. Someone has to have the belt. That someone would be the Thunder. The Thunder won, but this boxer has the belt. He won the fight, but, right? That's the asterisk. Yes, people are saying OKC, literally the most underwhelming team to win it ever. Guess what? We don't care either. They don't care. We don't care. But yeah, I also just feel about, every NBA fan, that must have been the worst case of blue balls ever. Like a historically bad case of blue balls. The league had nothing to do with it either, by the way. Well, they did, and I'll tell you how. They indirectly caused this. But this could have been the most epic finale to a postseason ever. This was probably one of the craziest, most incredible playoffs we've ever seen. And for a while, it wasn't looking that way, because if you're looking at all the characters in there, you're like, well, Curry's gone. Giannis is gone. Jokic is gone. Who's left? And it was still amazing basketball. You had a small market NBA championship, and it gave you 7 games with a game winner. Crazy basketball. Awesome basketball. However, because Haliburton got hurt, it's like you're right there. The last game, you could have closed it out with a bow. Wrap it up with a bow on top. But he got hurt, and we got the game we got. Everybody watched it. Everyone saw it. And, it's like, okay, Thunder won. They're the champions. But, right? And here's my take on the Thunder. and someone just said it here in the feed, they have to win it next year. The Thunder have to win the finals next year to remove the but champions. Like if the Thunder win 2 finals in a row, you can't go, but Thunder won last year, they won this year, but like they are in the dynasty, and that's year 2 of the dynasty, and they're gonna, and like the model works, and they're good, and you're gonna have to get over it. You're gonna have to get over yourself and this team. But if the Thunder do not win the finals next year, they will forever be the butt champions. And they are so deep in the cracks of that butt, like deeper than deep in that crack. They have to win next year to remove the butt, because what are you going to say forever? Like if the Thunder do not win the finals next year, how are you going to describe this Thunder team this year? You're going to say they won the NBA finals, period? Exclamation point? No. You're going to say they won the NBA finals, but Halliburton got hurt. We have no idea what would have happened had he stayed healthy. Not to mention, this entire finals we have, in fact, the whole conference finals is a byproduct of injuries. It is. We have people saying, we won, period, comma, but. Help me help you. We won, period. Period. But Halliburton got hurt in the first 7 minutes, right? Okay. That's all I'm going to say about that. You get it. No, but I'm just playing with someone on the feed right now. Okay. If the Thunder are champions, but we'll never know what would have happened if Halliburton would have stayed healthy. Okay, I'm done. You get it. Serious. We got that finals because of injuries. That whole finals was set up because of injuries. And that's not me being resentful. I'm just telling you, the Pacers were there because of injuries, right? Pacers 1-5. There was no Dame, and they were really good. And so were the Bucks. The Bucks are a good team. That's a 4-5 matchup. Bucks are a great team. Bucks had some injuries. Pacers win in 5. Pacers advance. Pacers then play the Cavs. Cavs did not have, was it Mobley for the whole series? Did Mobley even play? I don't even think Mobley played. I know Mobley missed the first 2 games, the games of which Halliburton stole. By the way, we talk about the Pacers being America's team, which I was with that. Everyone in the country wanted the Pacers to beat OKC, 100%. They were in the position they were because they also were the recipient of some untimely opponent injuries. Let me tell you why. Yeah, Mobley, Garland, they missed games. Right. So the Cavs were short-staffed, and the Cavs also choked. Like that game 1, game 2, it's like, okay, if you're going to choke like that, you don't deserve to be playing in big-time games, right? But the Pacers beat the Bucks. There was no Dame. There's no real challenge. Pacers made some crazy shots. Halliburton made some crazy shots, crazy comebacks. Do the same thing against the Cavs. Pacers then played the Knicks. Again, crazy shots to give themselves a leg up in games they should have lost. Why'd they play the Knicks? Jason Tatum could not play. Jason Tatum and the Celtics choked a few games, right? Game 1, game 2. If you win those 2 games, it's totally different series. Does Tatum even get hurt at all? Who knows? We have no idea. The injury happened, and Knicks advanced. Knicks, Pacers. Knicks, Pacers was the byproduct of injuries, just like Thunder, Wolves. Who'd the Thunder play to get to where they're at? Thunder had 2 games against the Grizzlies. Thunder played, crushed the Grizzlies. Game 3, first round of the playoffs. Grizzlies were up 30 at home. 30. Ja Morant gets hurt. No one really gave any attention to Lou Dort smacking the living Christ out of Ja Morant on a contested layup, right? Well, he got hurt. Thunder come back and win that game. This is kind of, we don't know how serious to take this statement from Ja Morant, but Ja Morant goes down. Game 3, he's done for the series, by the way. Ja Morant, very salty, says, well, if I don't get hurt, we're tying this series up 2-2. I had them figured out. And a lot of people were like, ha, that's pathetic. That's low, even for you, Ja Morant. That's a horrible take. Well, no, it's not. Because, first of all, that sweep happened because Ja got hurt. At the very least, the Grizzlies are taking game 3. The Grizzlies lost game 4 barely without Ja Morant. If Ja Morant ties it up 2-2 back to OKC, again, I'm not saying the Grizzlies are walking away with it. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it's not a sweep. The Thunder swept the Grizzlies because Ja Morant got hurt. So they bought themselves almost a week and some change because of an injury. Then they go to Denver. They lose to Denver, who just played 7 games. Denver's tired as hell. Aaron Gordon gets hurt. We don't know. I know Grizzlies had no chance to beat the Thunder. I'm not saying the Grizzlies are going to beat the Thunder in round 1. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the Grizzlies could have slowed them down because the Thunder swept the Grizzlies and then went in cryotubes for a week because of injuries. That's the truth. They wouldn't have swept the Grizzlies if Ja Morant never got hurt. That is a fact. They were up 30. Ja Morant goes down and they fall apart. You don't have to be a ball knower to know that. You don't even have to be a detective. You could just use a little bit more thinking than most lizards and dogs, right? Okay. Someone's like, we could have, should have, would have. I know. That's the whole point of this is could have, should have, would have. I'm just telling you. The Thunder then play the Nuggets and they win in 7. We'll never know. The Nuggets also blew it, by the way. I was at game 4 in Denver. They were up 9 with about 6 minutes left to go in the game, and they blew that game. They blew another game on the road, again, up double digits in the fourth quarter, and Lou Dort starts banging in threes from deep, that high-arcing shot. It was like a missile from hell coming in and squashed the Nuggets right out, right? The Thunder are good and came up very clutch at times, but a lot of their success did come from byproducts of injuries. Flash forward to the conference finals. Who did the Thunder play in the Western Conference Finals? The Minnesota Timberwolves. Thunder clapped Minnesota. Do you think Minnesota belonged in the Western Conference Finals? You can answer honestly. The answer is no. Minnesota sucked. Why was Minnesota in the Western Conference Finals? You get one guess. One guess. And I'm still talking about this because it's more than relevant. Why was Minnesota in the Western Conference Finals? Sorry, who? Who got hurt? Oh, refresh my memory. It's been so long. Who got hurt? Steven? Stephen. Kerr? Oh, that's the coach. Curry. Got it. Curry was injured. Yes. Curry got hurt. Wolves advanced. They needed to win one game to give Curry some time to come back. Unfortunately, the Warriors depended too much on Curry. That was their own fault, right? A better team could advance if they had better players. Again, Warriors had faults as well. They probably should have had a better bench, better game plan. Maybe play Kuminga more. I don't know. But Curry never goes down. There is no way they're losing in 5. There's no way they're losing in 6. You can't lose in 6 if you win in 6. Bet you the Warriors would have cleaned their clocks. Curry had all the space in the world game 1. Very different series in the Rockets, of which he still dominated and advanced. But the only reason the Thunder played in the Western Conference Finals against the Wolves was because there was no Curry. So the very conference finals, Knicks, Pacers, Wolves, Thunder, was a byproduct of injuries. That is a fact. There's no Tatum. There's no Curry. There's no Mobley. All these teams that lost early dealt with injuries. Injuries are part of the game. Yes, they are, but they really shouldn't be. My point is, you shouldn't have a finals in basketball based off of who's the healthiest. That's not a good measurement of worth in the game of basketball. Football, yes. Football is a physical, violent game. And if you can't stay healthy in football, that's football. It's like it's a week-to-week thing. Ice, rest, healing. It's a very complicated game. Football is like war. Like the gridiron, blitz, war Memorial Stadium. Football is like war. That is what football is. It's war. Every week is a new battle in a gladiatorial arena, and one team wins, the other team dies. That's football. That's not basketball. So I'm like, as much as I want to sit here and say injuries are part of the game, I don't, by the way. I think it's such a stupid thing to constantly tell yourself injuries are part of the game. They don't have to be. And you shouldn't lose your superstars in a postseason. You shouldn't lose 4 superstars in one postseason. Definitely not. Don't tell me that's good for the league or too bad. Get a better strength coach. No, there's got to be a better solution. Oh, wait, I have one. I have a solution. First of all, we can't have best of 7 series all playoffs. We don't have to do that. I know there's a significant amount of aura surrounding the idea of 2 greatest words in sports. Game 7. Game 7. You could still have that without having that for 2 months. I think we should significantly reduce the playoff series lengths, at least in the first couple rounds. I'll tell you why. So, March Madness, right? One of the best things about March Madness is the single elimination. Doesn't matter how good you were all year. If you don't beat who's in front of you, tough shit. Pack your bags. Thanks for everything. Great season. That's March Madness in a nutshell. And I think that's really perfect the way it is, because that's very representative of college kids. Anyone can beat anyone on any given day. If you have a good game plan, tiny David could beat huge Goliath, and it happens all the time, and it's awesome. I don't think we should necessarily do that for the NBA. As, you know, gladiatorial as it gets of you win, you advance, you lose, you're out. I still think there's an element of, well, it was an off night, and, you know, basketball, you can play multiple games and, you know, within 1 week and not ruin the health of your team. You could also have a bad night and go, okay, we'll figure it out. We'll make adjustments. I think putting the whole season on one game for the whole playoffs is really tough. I think you could put a whole season on a game 7. That's fun, right? Because you have to have those type of stakes. But this whole, well, it should be just like college basketball. No. And of course you're going to have people go, well, you know, we really just need, we're not used to just single elimination. That sucks. Well, get over it. You lost. I see a need for single elimination, but I don't think it has to be that way. You don't have to do that. What I do think you can do is accommodate the people who love long series, such as TV advertiser. So you can't just take away a month of playoffs, right? There's a huge force of criticism right now that's basically saying, oh, my phone's about to die. I don't want that. Hang on here. I know we're live, but I want to make sure this phone doesn't die. Hold up. All right. You see me? All right. I had to plug my phone in. That's embarrassing. Or was I? Yes. You have to have the money. The money is still involved, right? The TV world would never go, whoa. Hold on. We need more opportunities to sell advertising. We got to do commercials. We got to do X, Y, and Z, right? We need space because that pays for everything, right? You can't just say we're going to take away all these games and these months of playoffs because we want to make it shorter so people don't get hurt. It pays for everything. You need the money because money always wins, right? What if you gambled on the hunch that if playoff games were more meaningful, say you get more elimination games often, more people would watch. I know people is like, well, more games, more money means more league, means more everything, and it's a good cycle, right? But the ratings are on a path of going down, regardless of who's in the finals. You know, you had the Celtics in there last year, didn't get that good of ratings in years past, right? There's more things to watch. I'm not saying that people aren't watching the NBA as much as they used to. You could watch in different ways, but there's also other things to watch. Like the NBA fans are still watching the finals, but maybe they're watching on not YouTube TV. Perhaps they're not going the traditional route because you could watch it on your phone or you could stream it or whatever. The game isn't slowing down. The game is growing. It's global. But, you know, the idea of how you measure a watch and get people to sit down in front of the TV, that could be going away because a lot of people are cutting their cable and not everyone's necessarily jumping right into YouTube TV. They're still watching basketball, but you're not going to get that same wholesome experience you had in the 90s where there's like 10 channels. One of them is the finals. The other one is Seinfeld. It's different. The world of entertainment is different. There's so many screens that you could consume stuff on. It's a miracle you even get as many viewers as you have. So how do you solve all these? You can't just be dense and oh, look at us. We're just going to, we're going to make them watch it because we're going to rig. No, you have to, it's a complicated topic. You have to have the reality of the legitimacy of the game, the integrity. God, I couldn't find the word. The integrity of the game must stay there, but you also just don't want all these bullshit teams in the finals, right? You don't want a small market team. As cool as it was this year, this can't, you're going to lose fans, right? Well, how do we get that? How do we ensure that every single game is high stakes, no matter who's playing, so that the playoffs don't feel like they're 2 months long and guys don't get hurt? I have a solution. Let's take a page out of the book of baseball, right? Baseball has a fantastic postseason process. I think the first round of the NBA playoffs should be first team to win 2 games. Not 1, 2. You have a home game and you have an away game. And if you split it, it goes back to the higher seed. You still have the element of a home court advantage, but it's not best of 7. It's best of 3. Get going. Get on with it. We have stuff to do. We have more basketball to consume. If you make these 2-month-long postseasons, guys are going to get hurt every single year, and it's going to exponentially increase. The game is getting faster. Guys are getting stronger. It requires much more of you to move at speeds like these. People are like, well, why is everyone taking all these rest days? Why is everyone getting hurt? Did we see Jordan in the 90s? No, stop talking about the 90s. We have the highest performance of basketball the world has ever seen, and it's going to get better and better every single year. Every single player on an NBA court is one of the freakiest athletes that has ever walked the face of the earth. We have 6'10", 250-pound human beings high flying through the air, running faster than most golf carts can drive. That's unbelievable. Of course, guys are going to get hurt. It's a freak of nature playing in the NBA, and freaky stuff happens. You're moving so fast all the time. It's so intense. You can't do this for 2 months. Playoff basketball is the most intense postseason in any sport next to hockey, but you could play injured on hockey because you don't have to move all the time. You're skating. I'd probably say that's probably a horrible take. If you're a hockey fan, I'm sorry. I just totally degraded your sport to one terrible take sentence, but you could play injured in hockey. You can't really play injured in basketball. You really can't. Not at the same speed. Not in today's game. First round of the NBA playoffs. First team to win 2 games. Home game, then an away game, then back to home for home court for the better seed. Second round, same thing. First team to win 2 games. Games are more meaningful. You have people coming in knowing, shit, this could be the last time I see my team play for the next 6 months. I'm tuning in. You know how many BS game 2s and game 3s we get where it's like, oh, they're up by 40. I'm turning the TV off. Like the Warriors-Rockets series, game 2, the Rockets were up by 30. And every Warriors fan was like, all right, well, on the next game, click. That's ratings going down the toilet. We want people to be staying in front of the TV for as long as possible, right? That's the whole point. That's why you get the ratings up. You do that by having more meaningful games. Not necessarily more games, just more meaningful games. Well, how do you make more meaningful games? Fewer games in each playoff series. Less is more. Not to mention, you're not playing for 2 months anymore. And if you are playing for 2 months, it's spaced out. Like if you need to make sure that there's something happening in June, okay, well, you have these playoff games and then there's a little bit of a break. I don't think that's the way to go, to be honest with you. I don't think you need to play in a game and then like 4 days later you have another game. Like if your hamstring's about to tear, your hamstring's about to tear. What's 4 more days going to do? I think the best way to go is to have a great playoffs end. No one gets hurt. You feel like you didn't 2 months of playoffs is crazy. The NFL playoffs is 1 month. Like playoffs start mid-January and the Super Bowl is the first or second week of February. That's 1 month. And football is king. Are you going to tell football they're doing it wrong? The NBA playoffs being 2 months, guys are going to get hurt and ratings are going to go down because there's fatigue. You're just tired of it. Like as soon as March Madness is over, I don't want to watch any more college basketball. I'm good. I don't need to see my heart can't take it. I'm going to have a heart attack. So right? Fatigue is real. I can't just sit here and stress every single night. I'm going to lose all of my hair. It's already on the run. But you get what I'm saying. You can't do nothing. You can't do exactly what you have next year, right? If you just say, no, we're going to do exactly this next year. What the hell? What the Hali? What the Hali Burton? Can't do that. You can't do that. Guys are going to get hurt. Ratings aren't going to increase. Wait, are the Warriors just going to magically find themselves in the finals? Because let's face it, that's what everyone wants to see. Everyone wants to see Steph Curry in the finals. That's what Adam Silver wants. That's what the West Coast wants. That's what Europe, Asia, they all love Steph. Everyone loves Steph. And they want to see Steph play a formidable foe. Well, I'm just saying, if someone's like, it always comes back to the Warriors. Okay, she's like, JK, they are great. You get it. That's Steph sells. There's never been a more profitable player in NBA history as far as ratings go than Steph. In the last 20 years, Steph has the highest rated games, the last 10 highest rated games in the NBA in 20 years. They're all Steph. And before it was Michael. So Steph and Michael, that's pretty good company. Okay. So, first round of the NBA playoffs. First team to win 2 games. Best of 3. Same with the second round of the NBA playoffs. No more BS game 2s and game 3s. If a team is getting killed, they're getting killed. But that shouldn't happen in the playoffs. It's the best of the best. Guys also won't get hurt as much because Steph Curry playing 7 games at 38, 36, right? Well, yeah, he's going to go down because after he plays game 7 in Houston, flies to Minnesota. The next day they play and he tears his hamstring. 7 games in the first round should be abolished. Because 7 games in my new world where there's best of 3, that's 2 series. So if you go 2 series, then you get hurt. It's like, okay, well, it sounds like the hamstring was always going to give out. You can't control that, but you could prevent it earlier. But guys going down in round 1, round 2, so that in the finals, it's just who's the healthiest. That sucks. It's so preventable. I think there shouldn't even be a best of 5. The conference finals is when it switches from first team to win 2 games. The conference finals is first team to win 3 games, right? Take a little bit of a break. Guys come in after rounds 1 and 2. All right, it's pretty serious. If you want to go to the championship, you still have to win more games than just 1 or 2. Because let's face it, a lot of people are going to be like, I can't do the 2 games because like first team to win 2 games, that doesn't work because there's to be a lot of fluke teams in there. We don't want fluke teams. That's one flaw March Madness has is these Cinderella stories that go to the Final Four. Like you have like Loyola Chicago playing Duke or whatever, and then Duke just creams them in the Final Four. You're like, oh, this sucks, right? Because at some point, the math equation of life kicks in. Everything regresses back to the mean. If this team they just caught fire for like 3 days, a weekend in March, are they really the best team in all of college basketball? No. And so that's when you get these lopsided games in the Final Four that everyone's like, it's the price. The price of March Madness is if you have a really bloody and awesome first round full of upsets, you're probably going to get a pretty shitty championship because Texas State, Christian, Lutheran, A&M, Tech, and their coach has one leg, and it's a heartwarming story that America fell in love with. They're going to get smoked by Cooper Flag in the finals. That sucks. And so that doesn't feel very inspiring there. One shining moment, we lose by 50. That sucks. And so the NBA is trying to eliminate that. They don't want these stragglers in there. Now, they don't hate underdogs. We see this all the time where 8 seeds beat 1 seeds. Like the Heat dominated the Bucks 3 years ago to advance in the next round. Then they dominated again, right? However, look at this year. I think first team to win 2 games, the flukes still get filtered out. What did you see? Thunder beat Grizzlies 2-0. They advance. The Warriors went up 2-1 against the Rockets. They advance. The only difference is, the order of games, you go Rockets, Warriors, Rockets instead of Rockets, Rockets, Warriors. They still advance. Wolves went up 2-1 against the Lakers. They advance. Denver goes up 2-1 against the Clippers. They advance. Right? It doesn't matter. Pacers go up 2-1 against the Bucks. They advance. Knicks, here it is. This is the only flaw. If it's the best of 2, you can't choke like the Celtics did, right? So the Knicks go up 2-0 against the Celtics, stealing 2 in Boston, and then taking 1 in New York. And, of course, Tatum goes down, then you win in 6. Yuck. But if you have a best of 2, you can't choke. Timeouts are everything in the last 2 minutes. You can't afford to lose 2 games because you're out. You can afford to go down 2-0 in a series, in a 7-game series, because they can come back and tie it up. But how many millions of people did not watch games 2 and 3 because they were meaningless, right? You don't really sit down and watch them until game 5, game 6, and if you're lucky, you get a game 7. So my solution is the best of both worlds, because the people who are very single elimination pro, we love March Madness of how authentic and awesome it is. You have one shot. If you lose, tough shit. There are also the NBA purists who are like, no, we're different than college, right? We appreciate the better teams who have been good all season to win. That's why it's first to win 4, because you're not going to accidentally win 4 games against the best team. The best team will win 4 games first. We're meeting in the middle because I can't watch Curry get hurt and Halliburton get hurt and Tatum get hurt and Dame get hurt and then just appreciate the finals we got, knowing that could have been prevented if we didn't play for 2 freaking months. And now I have people saying the Warriors aren't sniffing the finals. Well, we have sniffed the finals 4 times since I've been alive. It's great. Anyways, that's all I'm going to say about that. I can't imagine anyone disagrees with me because that take is completely correct. Everybody wants to see good basketball with stars in it. I don't think you really need 2 months of playoff basketball knowing you're going to get some shitty games in there, knowing guys can get hurt, knowing what's real, what happened, could happen again to anyone. The Halliburton injury will go down as, well, actually, no, I take it back. Halliburton's injury just joins an already brutal, heartbreaking list of what ifs. People are like, is SGA not a superstar? I guess he is a superstar by all stats and all measures. He has an MVP. He has a finals MVP. He has a finals best team all year to win the finals, less than 20 losses. Then why do I have to convince you he's a superstar? Why do you still go, maybe he isn't? That's the problem with Shea. That's the problem with SGA, is that you have to like double take. You're like, is he a superstar? Like, he is a superstar. But the fact that you're asking, is he a superstar, tells you maybe he's not a superstar. I'll give you a hint. Is Ant Edwards or SGA a bigger superstar? I would say Ant Edwards is probably a bigger superstar than SGA, just because of the way Ant acts, carries himself, and performs. SGA, a 30-point game from SGA is very different than a 30-point game from Ant. People are like, SGA for sure. Ant's more fun to watch. Ant probably sells more jerseys. Are you wearing an SGA jersey outside of Oklahoma? No. That's actually the question I asked last week. Are you buying a Chet jersey if you don't live in Oklahoma? I don't even think people in Oklahoma have Chet jerseys. They have plenty of Chet jerseys on the rack. There's no way people are buying Chet Holmgren jerseys outside of Oklahoma. Same with Jalen Williams. And most definitely same with SGA. They just don't have the same pizzazz. They don't. Aura is everything from on the court, off the court, being funny, not being corny. Just, yeah. Someone says, I have 3 Jokic jerseys. I do too. Because he's a freak. He's incredible. Someone said this is the coldest take I've ever witnessed. Yeah, it could be. But I guess I'm going deep into the wells of I had better takes earlier. My neck. My whole thing with SGA, and my whole thing with the Thunder is the Thunder won, but like every time we're talking about the Thunder, it's but. Like there's no guarantee that you can't say it with a straight face that SGA is the best player in the world right now. He's not. Everyone goes, well, right? Well, I don't know. Jokic is way better than SGA. Way better. It's just Denver lost. Thunder won. Thunder kept advancing. But Jokic is way better than SGA. So, okay. I think that's all I'm going to do. I've been on for almost an hour. All right. Let me wrap things up here on the TikTok, and I'll go back to the live stream. That's all I'm going to say about that. You're probably wondering right now. Okay, this is for everyone. No more takes. Today is one of the worst days in sports. The day after the NBA Finals ends, because you're now sitting here going, "Great, now what?" Right? You're probably like, "What do we do? What do we do with ourselves now that this is done?" And the answer to that is WonderFan. WonderFan, you can watch games that are on TV, baseball, WNBA, and earn rewards just for watching. That's the company. Download the WonderFan app. It's an app, and it's great. Okay, closing the TikTok. Thank you for joining. If you had fun, we're going to keep it going here on the YouTube, TikTok. Thank you for joining. And now, oh, that was fun. 1,000 viewers on TikTok. That's great. Okay, if you're still here on the YouTube, I bet you're waiting patiently to find out who won our weekly cash giveaway. I can't talk about that exact wording on TikTok because they have guidelines about what you can mention about giving away money, but I can on YouTube. Let's go. Yes, every week we're giving away $500 to a lucky person who wins our raffle on the WonderFan app. Right on our contest page, if you open WonderFan, you will find one button that says enter our raffle giveaway. Use Wonder you earn from watching games and enter the raffle. You can enter as many times as you want. Well, we decided to try one more thing this week. We're adding a layer to this. If you entered the raffle last week, you're still eligible to win, but we're adding one more piece. Because everyone is seemingly mourning Halliburton going down, This is such a painful day for so many people, not just Pacers fans, but I feel like Americans across the country are so bummed of how the finals went down. And that's what we all have as sports fans, pain. So here's the challenge. If you want to win the $500 weekly raffle, enter it. We're extending the time to the end of the day. Enter the contest, take a screenshot that you entered it, then DM WonderFan. DM WonderFan that you entered and tell a story about the funniest or most brutal pain you've felt as a sports fan. Because I think we could all use a laugh. And the only way to get through this awful time, I mean, that's the truth, right? Laughter is the best medicine, especially in sports. We all go through pain as sports fans. I want to hear about your funniest, most brutal pain you've been through because sports can be hilarious. So tell me, to say an example of my pain. My football team in high school, we were undefeated. We were undefeated playing our last game of the year, and a buddy of mine was hosting a party for all of us after the game. His mom, buddy on our team, his mom ordered a cake for us. We were 9-0 before the last game of the year. We're having a big party afterwards, and his mom got a cake for us. The cake said 10-0. We lost that night, and then we went home and ate 10-0 cake when we were 9-1. That's an example of pain that's funny in sports. Think about that. I'm munching this cake, which was great, but I'm eating the sliced 10-0. DM your favorite, your funniest, your most memorable moment of pain as a sports fan and send a screenshot of your entry in the raffle. You must DM us. You must be following us in addition to entering the raffle. Whichever is the funniest response, I will choose the funniest response. If whichever one makes me laugh the hardest is the winner. So it's a little bit of both. You have to enter the raffle, but whoever makes me laugh the hardest in the WonderFan DMs, you win $500, and we'll let you know. The deadline is tonight. So again, whoever makes me laugh the hardest with their responses about their most memorable moment of pain as a sports fan, and you show a screenshot that you entered our raffle on the WonderFan app, you will win $500 cash. That's the contest. All right. So if you're joining live to see who won from last week, you have to do one more thing. So if you're watching, we have thousands of people that are watching on TikTok, but of the thousands of people watching right now, if you're wondering, wait a second, I entered, I want to see who won, you have one more task. You must make me laugh. You must be following us on IG, DM us. Whoever has the funniest response wins. All right, you have till the rest of the day. I will choose a winner tonight. So you have 12 hours. 12 hours. You'll be notified later tonight. Okay? All right, that's it from all of us here in the WonderFan Show. Get after it. If you want to win $500, get cooking. We all know pain as a sports fan. No one is pain-free. Even Boston fans, you have pain. I know it. So let me know your pain, and we'll reward you for it. Because here at WonderFan, it pays to be a sports fan. In the best moments and in the shittiest moments. That's who we are. WonderFan is the sports fan rewards app that pays you to be a fan in the highs and in the lows. And God, I've been in the lows. Holy shit. All right, folks. Thank you for joining again today. We will see you soon. We'll see you later this week. Ciao.